Okay, so let's get started. Thank you for joining. Can you hear me in the back? First
yes.
of all? Okay. So first of all, I want to thank everybody for joining us for this particular panel here. The purpose of this panel is the title is from blog to book, and basically what that means is using your social media presence and using your blogging experience to go from doing that to applying it to writing books. I'll just do a short introduction for myself. My name is Marc. My blog is called PoliteOnSociety.com, and I've been running it for about 6 years now. It'll be 6 years in May 17th. I'm based in New York City, and I deal around issues of politics and social commentary. So, and I also wanted to introduce my co-panelist, Yalanda, Lattimore, Dry Buzz, based in Atlanta.
Yes.
And also,
we say born and raised.
Okay.
Born and raised. That's right. That's a New York thing based. No. Born and raised, and then they say when I die, I'll be dead in Atlanta. Okay. Go ahead.
And of course, Nicola Mitchell.
I'm Nicola Mitchell. I live in Atlanta as well, but I'm born in Jamaica. Vegas raised.
And the biggest debate is how to pronounce her name. I said, what's your mom call you?
Nikki.
So what I'm going to just start off with a basic outline of what it means to make the jump, and I just want to key on a few things. Just for the sake of kind of setting the stage, I'm going to focus exclusively on going from just being a blogger to self-publishing. The process as far as getting a book deal and all other stuff, an agent, that's a whole nother process.
That didn't happen here.
So yeah, so I can't speak from that experience. So what I'm going to do is I'm really going to focus on the key things that led me to self-publish. And I would say, as far as I'm concerned, the notion for me self-publishing was for me to expand my brand and base it upon what I already know. I mean, of course, people know me for politics. They know me for saying these like very snarky and very to the point things online. And it was just like it was a natural progression from going from that to what I'm doing now to wherever you might see me coming on Baltimore. And I was just like, you know what? If the main thing I want to impart to you today is that if you have the tenacity to have an audience and run a blog for at least 2 years, you have got the audience and you've got the groundswell of support to put your own books out there. And it's not about necessarily waiting for somebody else or waiting for Penguin or Bantam Books or whatever, or Random House to put the cosign on you and put the stamp of approval on you. It's about taking that step necessarily to make the jump. Now, I'll tell you how I did it. What I did was, in addition to me blogging, I also did freelance writing, right? So what I did, I took the money. We heard in the session earlier how it's really important not to write for free. Oh my God, it's so true. It's really so true, because the fact that I was able to take the money, I used to write for a number of places. MadamNoir.com, Time Magazine, Black Star News, some of you heard of, based in New York as well. And what I did was, that money that I earned from those like freelance jobs, I took that same money, turned it around, and bought ISBN numbers, which is basically the thing that you need to publish a book. And I used that same money to turn around and say, okay, you know what, let me just take what I already know and apply it. And I'd say that the reason I did that was because if we want to talk about publicity and we want to talk about, I'll just make a quick comparison. Having a blog and jumping into authorship is, to me, better than just saying, for the sake of argument, that you want to start off as an author, because regardless, people are going to have to know who you are anyway. So it's better to, if you're a blogger, if people already have an audience, it's better for you to use that platform. You already have a pre-established platform, whether it's 100 followers or 1,000, whatever have you. And I'll give you a perfect example. I launched my first book of poetry in 2013, and I used my pre-existing social networks to kind of advertise for the book signings and all that kind of stuff. So it was already a built-in platform that I had. And here's the thing: if you go with the regular route, if you go with the establishment, books, they're going to expect you to do the legwork anyway. So just be mindful of that. So it's better that you have that experience. So it's better to just sit around and just think about, okay, this is how I can apply it. If I'm going to have to hustle anyway, I might as well do it in my own name. And that's what led me to start Upstart Publishing, which is the name of my company. And
And now you're at 2 books.
Yeah, I'm on my second book now, which just launched last month. And I'd say that and as far as the growth in the audience from the first book to the second book, it's that much more so. And by the way, plug. There are all of our books are available outside. There's a little literature table outside that you can look, and there's also cards and promos for the book as well. If you don't necessarily have the funds to purchase anything right now, so what I'll do. I know some people have questions, and we want to get to everybody else, and everybody else wants to say things. So
we kind of want to say something.
Okay, so I don't want to just
my story is probably a little bit different. I'm known probably as the godmother of blogging. I've been on the internet, social media for 30 years, trying to get everybody across that digital divide. My name is Yalanda Lattimore. I'm the editor of DryerBuzz.com. It's not a hair blog. We do provide content for those who are in the hair salon. And while you're under the dryer, we wanted you to read our blogs. And we started we came online, I'll tell you. We started on a fax machine, okay? If you gave me a business card with a fax number on it, I was highly excited. Because then we would blow up your fax machine with our blog, with that time, was called a newsletter. I don't know if the new millennials have heard of a newsletter, but one of the things that we did was fax. We created our newsletter, and we would fax it all over the world for anybody that had a fax number. And then, of course, the internet, the first wave of the internet, when the first wave exploded, we, bought a domain name, which was highly expensive during that time. And we wanted to, I was trying to follow in the vein of Jet magazine. I loved Ebony and Jet. I wanted to be the female Johnson Publishing Company, and my parents were like, we're not giving you that much money. You're going to have to figure out a way to kind of streamline this. And then Clinton got elected, and all hell broke loose, and nobody was going to finance the magazine at the time because newspapers were folding and all this kind of stuff. So I decided, okay, well, I put it online just to learn how to do websites because I figured that was where everybody was going. The person that hosted my website said, okay, you're pulling a lot of traction, we just thought we'd host you. They didn't know that people were going to read online. This thing was new. And so we came online in 2002 under the brand DryerBuzz, and we also used to, being that I couldn't print a magazine, we went the CD route because, computers had just started coming out with the CD drive, and everybody was like, well, what do you do with that? And so somebody called me from Arizona and said, hey, you should take your online magazine, your fax magazine, put it on CD. How do you do that? Well, we're going to talk to you how to do that if you order the CDs from us. I was like, okay, cool. So we started putting the CDs in the hair salons, in the laundromats, in the barbershops, anywhere that people would walk by and pick up a CD. Because nobody had broadband at the time. Everybody was still on dial-up, and they would try to go use their dial-up, get on our internet, get on our website. They'd call us and said, okay, your website broke my computer. No, you just can't do it on dial-up. You got to have broadband. Well, what is that? All of this stuff was new at that time. So being that I was considered to be an innovator in this, I got put on a national stage. I mean, literally invited to one of the largest networking conferences to get up and talk about Twitter, this thing called Twitter. I got up, I talked about Twitter. They started calling me, okay, the godmother of Twitter. Because there were no, nobody was on Twitter. There was probably about a good 4 or 5 black people on Twitter at the time. Literally, because we spent the entire conference putting people on Twitter. Because they said, okay, all I know, I'm sitting in the audience like you, and I hear somebody reading my bio, and it's like, we'd like for her to come up and talk about this thing called Twitter. And I was like, okay, I didn't work for Twitter. They think I work for Twitter because apparently I'm one of what they call the top black women on Twitter. And so I go up, and I'm sitting before, I don't know how many people were in the room, amazingly. They said, okay, well, now we want to give you an exhibit space. I'm like, okay, I ain't got no product. What am I selling? So I decided, okay, well, I'll do social media concierge. I mean, bring me your business card. You're going to leave here with a Twitter, the Facebook, and all that. And but my thinking was, well, I got their business card. I'm going to end up with all the email addresses, okay? But still, what am I going to sell them? And this lady came up to me, she said, you keep answering the same question over and over and over. You should write it down. And I was like, really? I didn't, because I'm like, when I tell you I'm at this conference, hundreds of thousands of people coming up, well, what is Twitter? What is Twitter? I'm like, okay, wait. I've got to now teach them. I went home, I had to stack boxes of business cards. All these people I have literally put on Twitter. And I'm like, what do I sell them? And I decided, membership. Let me email them and tell them I have a membership, so they have these questions about this Twitter thing we put them on. They can, and they decided to subscribe. And I said, okay, well, $8 a month, you can call me, email me. I'll tell you how to do your social media. But what kept thinking, I ran into 2 old ladies at these conferences. One was like, she said to me, you keep answering the same question. The other lady was an old Jewish lady, had been in advertising since her day of birth. She's probably 100 years old. She wanted to pass out this information. I went to an conference. Every session I went in, she was in there. She couldn't understand these famous social media people because she would always say, well, what are you selling? I still hear this lady to this day. So every day I am selling something. I took what the lady said about me, answered the questions over and over, and the lady that said, what are you selling? And I went to my blog, and I found the top 27 posts on my blog, and I called them 27 answers to create buzz. I literally sat down and wrote the book on buzz because when I decided to become a blogger, the first book I read, or when I decided to go into media, the first book I read talked about creating buzz. What is buzz? I think it was the name of the book. And so buzz stuck with me. I put it in my brain, dryer buzz, and I decided to pull the top articles, and I called them 27 answers. Because that lady said I was answering those questions all the time. So now when somebody comes up to me asking me a question, I say, get the book. Get the book. The answer 20. I don't care how many questions you have, one of them is in this book. If you take 2 of the answers out of this book, you literally can create buzz overnight. I swear to you, I've done it. That's the reason it's in the book, because it does work. I've taken blogging. I've put some of the top people onto social media. I've taken my blog to national radio. I've taken over weekend radio in Atlanta on the top station. Most people have to start a smaller market. I am now the top blogger at, if you know Atlanta, V103 and WLK. WLK is giving me 2 shows, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. I mean, it's just having that national platform. You have to be selling something. The blog, it's just like CNN. There's a few million people that watch CNN, but there's a few 100 million people that still watch those 3 networks that we used to have back in the day. Same thing. There's a few million people that might read your blog, if y'all are there yet. But there's still a few 100 million people that will buy the book because they don't want to get online. These same 27 answers were blog posts. I went out, I shut down the blog post, and I said, hey, I'll give you a paragraph, and I said the rest of these answers are now in the book, and to buy the book. Likes are good, dollars are better. Well, okay. I love getting the Instagram like, but I love that person who says, I don't like Instagram, give it to me in the book. And they buy the books all day long. People want to know, what do you do with all that content once you got it out there? I will tell you now, you've probably already written 2 or 3 books. If you've been blogging for 6 months, you've written a book. Now all you got to do is publish it. And we'll go to Nicola. What's your hashtag? Give everybody your hashtag.
My hashtag is I am a dope chick.
She is a dope chick. And we're also live streaming on Periscope, so let me just say hello to the people on Periscope. If you can have Apple, I don't know about your Android people. One of the reasons they don't want the Android people on there because your audio sounds wet. But if you're on Apple, download Periscope and go live right now in this room. And if you tweet, the best tweet, I have a basket out here with a book. If you definitely do the best tweeting during the session, you can take that basket home. It has a book, and it also will have a console that go with it. And my hashtag is DryerBuzz. All right, Nikki.
All right, so I am totally different from both of them. I started off as an author, and I was in the healthcare sector and decided with a dare at my graduation party to write a book of my life because I was in this crazy relationship. And I think I'm just the bomb at everything I do, so I was like, I'm not going to fail and being an author. So I started researching not African American authors. I started researching Simon & Schuster, the Penguin Group, things like that, and what they were doing. And started listening to webinars, which they actually give away for free. And so when I was at work in this doctor's office, I would just have my earbuds in listening to these different sessions. And so I'm like, okay, I may be small because somebody told me if you self-publish the book, no one is going to buy your book. And this was back in the day when Borders was still around before they went bankrupt. And you had to do certain things. Nobody took you serious as self-published author. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be a boutique author. And I'm going to have the same things as all the major publishers. So I did that. I obtained a distribution account. I obtained, I was buying 1,000 ISBNs at the time. You can do 10 at $250. You can do 1,000 at $500. And I just knew I'm going to sell all 1,000. I didn't know I was going to publish other people, but I knew I was going to sell 1,000 books before I left this earth.
What year was that?
This was 2009.
Okay.
And so I went on this tour. I met this young man in the front, Mr. Troy Johnson. He was so inspirational to me, and I didn't even have a book yet. I'm on tour with the first chapter of my book, cards, business cards, and a big poster size thing of my book. And I was free-selling my book for $10. That was including shipping. So that's the deal, you know. And I met all these people that thought, oh, they like my hustle, and so they supported me, but now they thought I was out. I had so many books. By the time the book dropped in July, they thought I've been out for so long. And again, I make it clear that I wanted to be the same as Simon & Schuster. And the reason why I did that, because back then, like blogging now, and freelance writing, self-publishing has such a stigma that you couldn't even get your book placed in certain blogs, magazines, things, because I was a self-published author. So I created my company, NTM Publishing. Now, the first author I got was somebody that was a self-published author as well, who respected my hustle and begged me to publish her book, Rakea Gibson. She has now maybe 10 books. Amtrak is paying her, all this stuff, and she asked me to publish like 3 or 4 of her books. I didn't know what I was doing. I was still working in the doctor's office. And I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to make a buzz about me, I need to learn how to make a buzz about my company. And so I started watching blogging things. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to become friends with every blogger. So I was going to different events, and I am giving people that have blogs my books and stuff for free. Giving them, I would take Bath and Body Works stuff, make a little basket. Here you go, you can have my stuff. So now they're going to post about this free thing I gave them, and that's how I generated my first set of followership. Fast forward, I have 10 books now. I've published 45 books, and I've helped over 400 companies independent publish. So there's a lot of companies that give me their product that people think are independent publishers now, and I'm the one who put their books together. So my company was Right On Promotions, and now I grew and I just launched Strategic Connections, because we now went from how do you blog your book, how do you bring your book and self-publish successfully, to how do you do the whole brand, because while I was gaining my readership, I was gaining my fellowship as a blogger. I mean, not even a blogger at the time, because I didn't even have a blog. I just had my website. And I created my first blog, my first blog from the pen of Nicola, because my daughter got sick. She has a mass on her brain. And I wanted to explain to my readers why I kind of fell off and what I was going through and how to be, because I didn't have a job anymore. I left work. And when you working for yourself, you can go for broke really quick if you're not being consistent. And I just wanted to get an outlet from that. And then people were relating to me and relating that, oh, so I went from having like 500 followers to I think I have 40,000 right now. And and when people ask me what you blog about, I'm not like you guys. I'm not a lifestyle blogger, I'm not a beauty blogger. I blog about anything. I have Apple now asking me to post stuff, but not even on my blog, on my social media platform, because now I got 30,000 followers on Twitter. Now I have, so they're asking me, Android is asking me, I'm like, some of these games, they're like, can you post my game or whatever? I'm like, sure. I didn't even have a number to charge. I was like, how much? This is my brand manager. I'm like, what do I charge them? And I kind of was thrown into it. But for me, which I'm saying is different, I think if you learn how to brand yourself and believe in yourself, even if you have $10 in your pocket and you made an extension for your power bill to get this airline ticket to come to this event, which a lot of us have done, me as well, you go out here with such confidence and let people know to believe in you. That's how you're selling your product, even if you're giving it away for free. Because all those free items I gave away is what brought me here now. So when now I'm asked to speak about everything. And I'm like, huh? You want me to talk about that? I can? Okay, let me see. You think I do that too? Most of my titles I have is not what I believe in myself. It's what I Google my name and I see, oh, social media maven. Oh, social media maven? What is it maven?
Here's the key thing, and I'm just going to put on my moderator hat, because I know two things that you guys have done is that there's an event around your book. She said, this one of the answers in my book is, you said free. One of the things that we get caught up on is that giving things away for free. So write this down, okay? Free means F, fully, R, reimburse, E, each expense. Fully reimburse each expense, because a lot of times bloggers get caught up on the number of what to charge and how to monetize and make money. The first thing you got to do is reimburse the money that you have going out. Okay, like the trip and printing the books and all that. Start with free, because if you don't reimburse each expense, that's called a loss. So always make sure. One of the things that I love and one of the things I was excited about being on the panel with them is because both of you had great events around your book. Like you said, you went out, you did a pre-sale. A lot of people don't even do a pre-sale, but you had marketing, and so by the time the book came out, people were very familiar with it. You and your book signing, you had an amazing audience, an amazing following, and did it in New York as self-published. So talk to people a little bit about that. And I did the same thing in Atlanta. It becomes an event. You got to be the face of your book. But just talk a little bit how you built that in New York.
Well, that's a good point. And New York is one of the harder places to do it, but you have to be really tenacious about it. And the thing is, as a political blogger, I constantly get into these conversations about...
you keep calling the conversations, you debate.
I'm just trying to keep it cordial.
You don't keep cordial online. Come on.
Okay, well,
we were arguing yesterday because
I know, right?
Because he wanted to, he loved them protests and all that, they need to stop burning.
Well,
we're going to finish that one later. Go ahead.
But anyway, like I was saying, you have to see yourself as an expert, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't step up and say, you know what, I got this. This is what I do. I'm not playing with this. This is what I do. Then nobody will really, co-sign what you're about. Mm-hmm. I'm just using that as an example because people know what to expect from me. Like we heard in the first session, people know that I don't pull many punches when it comes to criticizing politicians, whether they're popular, Democrat, Independent, Republican. And I just get into these conversations And I really just kind of branch off. And what I was able to do was, besides talk about the things that's going on, I use my that platform as a springboard to talk about the events that I have coming up. For example, in addition to my blog, I'm also part of a book club based in Harlem. It's called the Phoenix Forum Discussion Group. And what we do, we talk about books that deal with black authors, you know, and deal with black subjects and everything. That's one aspect. And we have like events out in the library, you know, sometimes at Schomburg. We connect, and I use the local connections that I have in Harlem. So maybe hosting events, like I'll do like spoken word at the Shrine. I'll pick up the phone and call somebody and say, you know, my poetry book has been out for like a year or so. Could I come and be part of your set and do like maybe 3 poems, you know, really quickly? And they'll say yes. Sometimes you just have to reach out and just ask for it, and then the platform will establish. And I do want to say something to what you said earlier, Nicola, as far as self-publishing and the lack of respect. I'll tell you for a fact that is changing. It's changing. For example, my 2 books alone, right? I have both of them out and available in 2 bookstores in New York and 1 in New Jersey. I have my book available at Sisters Uptown Bookstore and Word Up Bookstore in Washington Heights. And I also have my book available in a Source of Knowledge bookstore in Newark for people who know New Jersey. So just to let you know that all hope is not lost. And also, I shared a story about a week ago. There's a bookstore in Florida that just deals with self-published books. So that is changing. So don't let the stigma of, oh, they're gonna just poo-poo me because I'm self-published. I mean, with the way the book industry is going in general, they won't be able to turn away anybody who's published a book. Let's just be honest about it. You know, so,
yeah, and the book gives you authority. I mean, almost immediately. But you want to speak to
About events.
Yeah.
I grew up in Vegas. I'm originally from Jamaica, but I grew up in Las Vegas. So you have to be elaborate with everything you do. So my very first book event that I did, I coordinated with one of the biggest black promoters in Las Vegas, and they paid for Darren Henson to be the celebrity host. But so I was like, okay, how much would you charge for me to have a table here, right? And have like a meet and greet during their, like $500. Now that seemed like a great investment, right? But it made sense because they're bringing Darren Henson in. It's free marketing because this group is now promoting it. The hotel was in the Rum Juggle inside the Luxor. That's one of the major hotels on the Strip. They're promoting it. So all I got to do is pay $500. Let me go get my $500 together.
And how'd you do that?
How I did that was I was still working in the healthcare sector, so I would go to different doctors and say, I'm going to go to this event in New York. I'm going to go to this event in Florida. The table space is $500, $300, how much the table costs. I will put your material on my tables, and then I'm meeting other authors too. I will put your material. So I'm carrying books like I'm a library.
So you'd fully reimburse each expense.
I fully reimburse my expenses by just taking your stuff and make the doctor's office are paying lump sums, but you may only have $10. I'll take it for 10. But now that's including my hotel space, and I became my new best friend at the time. We met just in business, Tamika Newhouse. She had such a grind like me. We just started splitting the cost. So we're doing different events in the same city, but we're planning. Okay, you're gonna be in Harlem in July. I'm gonna be in Harlem in July. You do your stuff. We're splitting the hotel costs. We're splitting the rent-a-car. We're splitting all that stuff. So I made it make sense for me. And now that in Vegas, it was so funny. One of the authors that I helped her put her book out, she came in, and I have on my YouTube channel. There's a event called Twisted Book Release at the Artisan. And I get students from different universities to come film. I get different things like that because I'm giving them the credit to say they did this. And since I paid for $500 that first event, I do not go over $500. And I'm on book 10. And I have had a signing at Bumpy Johnson's house in New York.
Awesome.
I've had signings. I'm about to have one in Twist in Atlanta in June. In all the major hotels in Las Vegas. But that particular one in Artisan, we had the camera crew come out. We had dancers because now they want to.
Because she's from Vegas.
Yeah, they want to be connected with my stuff. So I had this dance troupe come out and actors and spoken word and stuff. And this girl came in and said, my party's gonna be better than yours. I will compete with me then, make it better than mine.
Ooh.
But so now you want to know what I did. That's another platform and get paid.
That's another book.
Exactly. And the sad part is I have written 10 books and they're all fiction. I have like 6 nonfiction books because of this experience that I have, that I'm in the process of writing. I've lost 113 pounds while I've been doing this. So Black Women Losing Weight just featured me. And from there, it was like 8,000 likes on Facebook.
Wait, she just grazed through there. Okay, say it again. You lost what?
I've lost 113 pounds since I started. Because while I'm on tour, you don't think you're that big. But while you're on tour and you're in all these cities and you're working and I was still in school, I can't breathe. I'm having chest pains.
Lugging books around.
Girl, and I went in the hospital and they said, you were 309 pounds. And I didn't look like I was that big.
Right.
But my body was telling me I was. So I started gradually losing weight, not telling anybody, not even thinking it's going to be a big deal. Now, that was in 2011. It's 2015. I didn't even submit this. Somebody submitted me. And like I said, 8,000 people liked it in one day. We're at an event in Chicago. And I just started getting all these Instagram followers. And you're motivation. I'm like, who are these people, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? And so when I went back to the link, so from there, can you be my mentor on how to lose weight, blah, blah, blah. So now that's the book. Because I'm in my 3rd process of my weight loss.
Documentary.
Yes, and we're filming a documentary as well. And it's called Writing is a Lifestyle because I am not just an author. I write for 3 magazines. I have my blog and my lifestyle. So again, that is from that very first book. So,
and see, that's the thing about it too. When you think about blogging, don't think of it just as you need to have a WordPress or something like that. Blogging is now a book, it's a documentary. I mean, even you'd be surprised how many people will actually watch a 1-minute full-on honest YouTube. The platform is changing. You have to think of it as being a storyteller and making sure that you do content that's popular today, but make sure it has some shelf life. Because a lot of people put out stuff we're only going to talk about it today. Like her, I did we've got the Freddie Gray. It's Freddie Gray this week. But I started, my blog kicked off with Rodney King. So every time something happens, all of those stories I covered before they become relevant again. I remember when another country featured a YouTube we did 10 years ago, 6 years ago, 2006, because YouTube came out 2005. It took me 2 days to find somebody to translate the article that our video was in. And we'd done that. What they were saying was they could not believe Atlanta, the home of the civil rights, would allow police brutality. You just never know. But think about the shelf life. And that's one of the things I see with blogging today. There's no shelf life to it. Think about, because you'd be surprised how many people come back a year later, 2 years later. And, like she said, all of a sudden you're getting all these followers. You're like, well, where did they come from? What are they reading? And then you got to follow the trail to find it. But, it's multi-platform right now, multimedia. Social media is just one of now the, 4 or 5 mediums that are out there. And many people are considering themselves a source, You want to, and we also go ahead and want to open up for questions. Let's go ahead and open up, because I don't know how much time we got. We still got this good Periscope.
Sure.
Especially to get live, actually for anyone. You started out with the print or facsimile newsletter.
I still want to go back to it. Because everything comes back around.
Sure. So that actually leads into my question. So, first question is, do you still continue a newsletter, and does anyone else on the panel have a newsletter? And then the second follow-up is, what drives the most traffic to your blog or website? Newsletter, social media, search? referrals, direct traffic, whatever?
It's still email. I have a newsletter that goes out automatically and that I forget about until I get, the traffic or the feedback or something like that. It's like, oh wait, that newsletter, I wish I knew how to turn it off, but I don't, so I'm going to leave it there. It pulls the articles from the site, it goes out in email. As far as a print, it depends on the event that I'm going. If I'm going to an event and everybody's there to learn about social media, I definitely have something printed for them. It just depends on where the audience is, but and then this war thing that's going on with Google. Remember, it went on back in the day with MSN and all that when they wanted to favor something, favor how they deliver traffic. Like right now, the Google traffic is like way down because now they want to favor mobile sites. When people really don't even like the mobile sites anymore. They like to see your full on, because people, when you go to a site that's a mobile site, first thing you start looking for is how to get to the desktop version, right? But here comes Google has lost their ever-loving mind because they keep forgetting that the goal is search. I don't know what they want to do, but now to favor mobile sites when everybody loves desktop sites, it's like everybody's hustling backwards.
Well, I can tell you what they want. They want to make money, so it's easier for them to monetize on mobile.
But
you optimize your site for mobile.
But it's actually easy to monetize on the desktop site because there's so many mobile platforms.
For us.
Yeah.
But for them, when they're serving their ads on your site,
right,
they want to optimize for mobile. So they're trying to enrich themselves.
So they need to make Google optimize the site for mobile, not make individual. Because the thing that they can't figure out. See, here's the thing. And I'm gonna go back because I apply history to everything. Mark Zuckerberg is reading the Josh Harris Bible. Josh Harris got so fed up with us not figuring out the internet, he took his $1 billion, went and bought an Apple phone. He's like, I'll come back later. Y'all get it. Well, Mark Zuckerberg is like, oh, he had the Bible was simplicity. Every site, every page is gonna look the same. And that's the problem with blogging. You still want your blog to be cute and unique and all of that. No, it needs to resonate with the user that's going from his blog to my blog. They all need to look the same. Because it's something about a person in that transition. Like people, when you give them a link, they click and it takes them away from Facebook, they get scared. Because now their brain got to work a little bit harder because they got to search your page and what was I looking for, So they want to stay on, the Facebook and all that stuff. I think old is new again. If you don't know the history of this blogging game, learn that. Go out and watch the movie We Live in Public. That was Josh Harris. Josh Harris tried to sell the idea of what we're doing today. He tried to sell the idea to CBS. I used to say 10 years ago, maybe it's 20, 30 years ago. Okay, and CBS is like, no, nobody's going to be looking at stuff on a little tiny device. And he tried to sell the idea of YouTube, all that people are going to be watching all these little crazy videos. And everybody said, no. I tried to sell websites to all the national news organizations 20 years ago, and they were like, oh, no, we're not going to concentrate on the web. Now what do they want? They want web followers, they want social media. So old is new again. So if you can't get in your niche, if you've not been able to pull people to your way, go back and find something vintage. This list right here is got everything vintage. Everything. She don't know it, right? She thinking, I'm this trend. My auntie would love you. Because every time I call my auntie, hey auntie, you know such coming back. I'm like, Lord, please let one of those designs she got in her closet come back, please. And now it is. It is everything. So you gotta still do email. If you're not still doing email subscribers and sending out an email list, what's it all for? You got this one, and one of those answers is in the book as well. I tell you the 3 ways to build your list.
I still use the ones that you got to spend all that money when you get more emails listing. I think I use Target Hero. They're basic, but they're free, no matter how many email contents that you have. But then I also use Target Hero.
Oh, that's your contact manager?
Mm-hmm.
And it's free?
Mm-hmm. No matter how many contacts, it's free.
What's it called again?
Target Hero.
Target Hero.
Yeah, and sometimes I forget what it is, so I just search Hero and email it, and it pops up. And so I use Target Hero, but then I also now, because the Gmail has that ugly thing of promotions, the other one, and it mess your tabs up. So now some of my readers don't even know things are going on because of that tab. So I use another thing called Social Oomph. It's $47 now a month, but I schedule different posts going out for different for different things. But I also use a Google Voice number, which is free, and I use that to collect text phone numbers. And while I'm saying text your email address to whatever to find out what's going on, blah, 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 blah. But now I'm getting two things from you at one time. I'm getting your phone number because you're texting that number, and now we're getting your emails at the same time. So if you miss me on text, you're going to get me on email. If you miss me on email, you're going to get me on text.
And one of the things she said, now Social Oomph is a free thing, but she upgraded to a pro version.
Yes, and I've been using
That's
Pro.
key. As a blogger, go for that pro version so that you can fully brand it, take their brand off and put your brand on. What's your tip, Mark?
Well, I mean, I still have the email component. I use MailChimp because that's really like the it has like a limitation on it, but for what I'm doing, for the level of subscribers that I have, it serves its purpose. Now, if to answer your second question about the platform that I get the most traffic from, it's Facebook still, honestly. With Instagram being a close second, in my case, I know it's weird because Instagram is mostly pictures.
Yeah,
but
it's hard to tell the traffic coming from Instagram because the links aren't live.
Yeah, so I mean it's hard, but people find out about my blog through Instagram, and I'm just like, okay, that's interesting. Even so, more so in my case than Twitter, which is kind of confounds me a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say you still need, even though you need to have the blog, you still need to have the e-newsletter because people are not going to remember to go to your blog every single day.
Right.
So
that's a reminder.
Yeah, so you got to have that like little nudge, like, oh, wait a minute, check your email. I'll lay this post in there even from you haven't seen from last week. So so that's.
And let me touch on something really quick before you go to the next question. For Instagram, right? What I do get a lot of interaction through Instagram, but whatever new event that I got going on or whatever new blog post that I want you to see, instead of just using that website link on the bio for your website, if it's an event, like right now I'm hosting an event in Indianapolis, that is what is in my Instagram bio. So whatever is important, that's what I put in my Instagram bio. So when I post a picture, whatever, it says, hey, click on the link at the bio. But I still have the link in the post because I have it sharing to Facebook and Twitter at the same time, but it's in my bio on Instagram.
And you can put it in the address, the location.
Yes.
Yeah. That's because that way it appears on each picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back in back.
So I self-published a book last month.
Okay.
And through Creative.
Okay.
But it was like trial and error, doing my own research, and I decided to just do 2 channels, which was like Amazon Kindle, which is you're not making no money, right?
Why not?
Okay, I am, but like a small, my book is $10, so I'm making like a couple dollars. And then also directly selling, like I bought books to sell in person, because that's how I make a higher percentage. So what advice would you give me in terms of different channels in person? Like, I've never sold books before. I don't know if people still go to bookstores or libraries.
They do.
They do.
All day.
Okay. Let me add that. Don't sleep on Kindle. If you're selling your Kindle book at $10, drop that price. Your Kindle book needs to not be more than $5.99 if you are a best-selling author. If you're not a best-selling author, you need to compete at $2.99. You think that $2.99 is any sense off of that once you get your money, but you're in competition. Now, Amazon can promote you because after you get 100 sales, Amazon will now add you to the promotion of it. Also, go to ingramsparks.com and upload your book there. CreateSpace is fine, and CreateSpace tell you they distribute to all these different channels. Barnes & Nobles do not like Amazon, so they will not pick up your book. So if you need to host an event at Barnes & Nobles, you cannot do that publishing through CreateSpace. So go to Lightning Source, but Ingram Sparks is a little bit easier to go through than that. And go through Ingram Sparks and publish your book through there. And then that will allow you to be available at every book channel. You don't want to limit a sale because you think just because you don't go to a bookstore, just because you don't go to Kindle or go to Nook or whatever, I make the most money off of ebook sales. Google Books too. Go ahead.
All right. We got 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And what you didn't tell us your name or the name of your book.
Oh, okay. I'm Zena, and I blog about work and careers. And here's my book, The Savvy Girl's Guide.
Oh my God! I love your cover. That's hot. And you need to have it in. And you got all your colors as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Right. And do you have? Now you said you just launched your book when?
Actually, like April 10th.
Okay, have you had an event, your own book signing?
So I just did a small thing for family and friends, and I invited about 20 people. I sold about 20 books, so that was good. Now I've been selling stuff online, but I really want to get in person because I think my brand.
You need to book a job. You need to job fairs. See how much the vendor spaces are at job fairs.
College campuses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Exactly. I love that cover. That's an awesome cover.
And that was Create Space.
Yeah.
You did your cover on there?
Fiverr
is amazing. Fiverr is amazing for book. And remember, like I said, if you blog for the past 6 months, you've already written your first book. And a lot of times, I have a friend who I've been trying to get her to post, but like somebody trying to get me to write a book. She was like, I can't sit down and write. I was like, but you write 400-word comments on Facebook. Go back. And I mean, literally, 400. And every time she would comment on something, I would copy and paste and get the word count. And I'd go back and tell her, okay, that was 300 words right there. So I started archiving all of these things and sending it to her. I said, okay, now put this out as an ebook. And she can't believe she did all that because you don't know. Like even for me, I'm not inspired. I can't sit down and just write. But if a Facebook or something will set me off and I see I've gotten a little long-winded, that's a blog post. And then I go put it on the blog. Then I go back and I pull the blog post and I'm working on my second book, but it's pulling what I've already written. Because you get discouraged, like you sit down, you got your book. Look, I'm going to try to take notes today. Page is still blank. You know, because I'm not a note taker, I'm not a writer. But if something sparks me, then I realize, wait, let me check the word count. That might be a chapter. I have a blog friend who is a photographer. So her blog is all pictures. Every time she goes to an event and she posts to Instagram and all this, I go back and say, that's chapter 15. That's chapter 16. That's your book right there. You've got the content. But you got to put it in a book, and then you create the event and go to places and stuff. You want any final words? Okay.
I have a quick question. Like I work a full-time job, and I'm just kind of making my blog more specific. So I mean, all of this information is great, but you're like the one person that's like the writer, the marketer, the promoter. I mean, at what point do you get any help? How do you juggle so much? And
at events like this, start collaborating. Find somebody. You're going to hear somebody say the same thing, and you don't have to be in the same city, but start collaborating. Like I mean, you mentioned working with. She had interns. You had
internships.com.
Yeah.
Go there as well with the S at the end. You get the best interns, and there goes your whole team.
Exactly.
Right there.
Exactly. And sometimes you give people money to park.
Yeah.
Or feed them.
Yeah.
You know.
They'll come.
I'll give them money to park. Because that, especially in different cities, like, you know, like going to New York or something like that, or Atlanta, it's like you can get somebody to free up their parking. Shoot, they're there for you all day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And like we said, the books, we have books out here on the table. And Marc, your blog is?
It's called politeonesociety.com, and you can go there. It's called politeonesociety.com. I have some cards out there as well. And, you know, for those who want to follow me, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even Google+, at Marc Polite. So, you know, you can go there. But I wanted to thank everybody for coming out to our panel. And, you know, feel free to ask me questions afterwards. I make myself available. Tweet me a question, whatever have you. You know, if you want some of the notes that I took, by all means, and thank you.
Right. And we have books and we have ebooks as well. And your blog? Or?
My blog is from the pen of Nicola .com, from the pen of Nicola.com, and also Nicola C. Mitchell is what I use for everything, or Miss Nicola. So, okay.
And I'm Yalanda at DryerBuzz.
TheBombBuzz.com.
I like that.
I know, I got you.
All right, and say hello and thank everybody for watching on Periscope. All right, guys, we're gonna move on to the next session. Let me see how I stop this.